Welcome back, world, to the second episode of the Meat and Three podcast, where middle-aged guys meet up and talk about three topics each show. I'm Rob, and I'm your guest host this week. And in this episode, we'll be talking about toilet paper, Disney World, and our favorite men. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Wait, did you say we have a fan mail this week?
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Okay,
But first, a word from our sponsor. Are you ready? Are you ready for the word from our sponsor? Hey, foodies, are you craving a truly unforgettable steak experience? Well, look no further than Snookum Steakhouse in downtown Henderson, Tennessee. We're talking premium cuts, expertly grilled to perfection, and a dining atmosphere that's warm and inviting as the food itself. Visit Snookum Steakhouse today and tell them the Meat and Three guys sent you.
That's perfect.
That's great.
Yeah. I can't wait till someone shows up saying the Meat and Three guys told them to come.
All right.
As we learned from the last podcast, we don't shout out people that don't sponsor us. So
Well, y'all got to remember.
Curious, even if they pay us in meat.
Hey, I'm fine to be paid in meat, and you know that me and Sid both were in Henderson, Tennessee between last recording and this recording.
Yep.
So we've been working some deals, guys.
Did either of you darken the doors at Snookums?
That's a hard no. I can already tell. A hesitation.
I drove by.
Yeah.
But there's in Henderson, Tennessee. There's a new restaurant in town.
Chick-fil-A,
trying to put Snookums out of business.
Yeah.
Except on Sundays.
Direct competitors.
Yeah. So, All right, let's get to our fan mail. The response to our first show was amazing, and we are so thankful to dive into this fan mail. First letter is from Sid. Sid, this is from listener Susan, and Susan says, Sid, just how old are you?
Ooh. Let's get right to it.
Susan, I mean, there was a lot of comments on the first episode, and Susan is just wanting to know.
Did she say where she's from?
No, I didn't. That's not on our request form from our listeners.
Anonymous.
Okay.
Anonymous.
So as far as we know, you might have even made this letter up.
Answer the question, Sydney.
I am less than 50 years old. I'll say that.
All right.
Me too.
All right. Great. Susan, thank you. I hope
Susan.
that answer was what you're
Second.
That's right. Second question is for Ed. Ed, this is from listener Big Mike. Ed, you were very passionate, I could tell, about your college intramurals. Do you have a favorite memory from that you could share?
Absolutely. Thank you, Big Mike. Glad you chimed in. And did that come from an AOL.com email address? That's what I would like to know. My favorite college intramural memory was anytime we beat anyone on the softball field, which is pretty much every time we walked on that field. Legend has it that I hit a softball that still hasn't landed yet. I'm pretty passionate about those memories. Of course, all the Smurf memories. I wasn't as good as some people on this podcast who play AAA ball, but I played AAA Smurf. So, anything softball related. Thank you, Big Mike.
Good times. We actually had a question for Kevin as well. He's obviously not on with us tonight. It was from Judd, and Judd simply wanted to know, Kevin, did anyone ask you if you were busy this week? So
Nice.
appreciate Judd.
So, Rob, actually, I did get an email as well.
Oh,
Wow.
They didn't leave a name, but it was
competing.
It was addressed to me personally.
Competing Meat and Three inboxes, apparently.
Yeah. So the letter goes something like this.
Something like this. Not even like this.
Sid, how did you come up with the name Meat and Three? I'm glad you asked, because I definitely came up with that name. It just came to me one time.
Okay.
Oh, still taking credit.
Okay.
That was my highlight. That was definitely my highlight of episode 1. Sid taking credit for the name.
Okay.
So.
All right. Good thoughts. Love it. Keep it coming.
last fan mail letter was for JP. It says, JP, you seemed to have roomed with most of the guys on the shows in college. Which of your roommates was the messiest?
Oh,
Which was the messiest? I didn't. Well, I did not. I didn't room with Sid or Hayes. I think it was the only two I didn't get. Everyone else I did room with. Who was the messiest? Man, that's a great question. I don't. I do remember one roommate who's not on the pod. He's been invited, but he's not on the pod. He wasn't as much messy as he was very selfish, and would hide certain things of his, certain items that might be communal in nature, like food or drink, and he would hide those in the depths of his closet, which was very messy, in order to keep us, his other roommates, from partaking in those drinks. But we won't call any names until he makes an appearance one day. But I don't aside from like just the normal, I think there was a general like sloppiness that you just kind of get used to. So my standards of messy, not messy have probably changed. But I don't remember. It's a great question. I don't know that I remember. Nothing sticks out.
Who was your favorite roommate? That's another email that I just got.
You just got it.
Yeah, they're emailing mid podcast that hasn't been released. So
my favorite roommate was also not on this podcast.
Hold on, guys! I'm about to welcome someone. to the stage.
Watson McCord.
Oh, vertical Waddy over there.
Yeah.
Got it, jokers.
Welcome to the Meat and Three podcast, Waddy.
I know it. I'm kind of scared because I know you guys already laid out the topics of what I'm entering, so that's the scary part.
No, Waddy, we just had a fan letter asking favorite intramural memory, and we can put you on the spot and say, do you have a favorite intramural memory?
And do you have electricity?
Can we also?
I'm in the car. We just got out of garage Bible study, so we're in the car. I get a random message of saying, Sid, put in there, please join the podcast. So,
can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Favorite intramural memory.
Favorite intramural memory. Oh my goodness. All right, so I guess mine would be when we won single A softball championship. That was probably my favorite because it was just so fun and random. So
I never played single A.
You never played single A, Sid?
Never.
Ed and I played single A volleyball.
We sure did.
Most semesters. Like we would wear dress shirts, and we would play single A volleyball.
Let that be like. There we go.
Hey, there you are. And it was less about the volleyball and more about how hard we could spike it off of someone's face on the other side. So, it was a little mean.
I carried that tradition on when we played church volleyball too.
Oh, really? Dressed up?
Yeah, but you ended up meeting people who are actually not single A players, like they're actually good players in life, and it didn't really translate.
Yeah.
Quick question. Was anyone on this call on the Donkey Express?
No.
Remember that? That was Phil's team. Phil and Taft and Chris Dishman.
No, it was right before our time.
Too old for
late
us.
80s.
Remember, you're a lot older than we are.
That was Reagan administration. So
That was Freedom College.
Freedom in college.
That's
just
mean.
I tell you what, it was nice going to school with A.G. Freed and M.B. Hardy. Okay? They were nice guys.
All right. Well, we're at the 10-minute mark, and that's when we switch to our three topics, which is why we're called the Meat and Three podcast. I just made that up on the fly as a transition.
That's
Good.
right.
You're doing good, Rob. You're doing real good.
Thank you. So our first topic, toilet paper. Little backstory on this. I was looking to start a toilet paper company because I felt like Americans wasted millions of dollars each year on toilet paper. And if only we could use toilet paper more efficiently, then we could save money. Lesser squares, smaller squares, and fold properly would save families millions on toilet papers. Little did I know as I was thinking about starting this company 4 months ago that this group of guys would start a national debate on how to wipe with toilet paper. And so the question that we've seen the world talking about now is, do you fold or do you crumple? JP, is that the correct? Would you call it crumple? Is that? I mean, I want to make sure our listeners understand. I mean, fold is simple, right?
Crumple sounds a little too archaic or caveman. I prefer scrunching. I'm a scruncher. I'm not a crumpler. I'm a scruncher. I don't know that I've ever folded in my life, and really for two main reasons. One is the time factor. All right, when I sit down and when I get to that point, like I don't want to sit there and think about organizing the cleanup process. I want to grab, I want to scrunch and go. All right, I'm not there doing bathroom origami, right? Okay, I'm there to clean up a mess. And secondly, by scrunching, you create all these natural like crooks and crannies and crevices, different porous surfaces that grabs more material, if you will, in the cleanup process. So for me, like, I can't fold, man.
How many squares? All right. So when you fold, you take 4 squares, fold it in half. That's 1 wipe. Fold it a second time. That's 2 wipes. So for 4 squares, you get 2 wipes. So how many squares are you scrunching, and how many wipes per square? Because you may have just proved my point that the Americans are wasting millions scrunching.
I'm probably
may I interject something real quick?
Yeah.
Doesn't this, Rob, if I may, isn't this discussion contingent on which type of business that we're doing? I mean, if it's a simple pinch and release, maybe 4 squares will do it. But I mean, if it's a late night Waffle House run and there's some serious ramifications, are we a 4 square type of people? JP, continue.
Well, you brought up a good point because
Thank you.
The ply matters. So you gotta, number one, I think we all make a decent livable wages. I mean, none of us are on, welfare. None of us are hurting for toilet paper. So I feel like the quality.
We're 2-ply people.
At least.
At a minimum, we are a soft 2-ply people. And so because of that, like I have no fear that I'm going to break through the toilet paper because it's too thin. So there's a safety issue that you don't have to worry about. I've got enough of a scrunch. So I'm 4 to 5 squares, and I can get, depending on the severity, maybe 2 wipes out of it. But again, I'm not a miser. I'm not like, I'm not hoarding toilet paper.
Hold on. How do you get 2 wipes out of a scrunch? If you scrunch
it depends on the severity, man.
Right.
It depends on the severity. And you can rotate the scrunch a little bit. So, I mean,
You don't want to.
I've been doing this for.
You got to be careful doing that, man.
40 years.
I grab a handful of something you don't want.
That's what I was thinking.
Never done that.
Oh,
Never done that.
man. So we got 5. Oh, go ahead, Sid. I'm sorry.
So, first of all, you said 4 squares. I use probably more toilet paper than most people. I fold over twice. So I start out with 8.
Oh,
gracious.
And so, because I'm paranoid about poking through.
Is that trauma from past trauma?
From past trauma. I'm paranoid about poking through. And so, but also, if I have my druthers, I go with quilted northern. Okay, that I found is the softest, most durable toilet paper. This segment is brought to you by Quilted.
Oh, yes.
After Snookums.
That's when we need it.
It could be.
All right, so we got 5 guys on the podcast right now. Let's see a show of hands. Who folds versus who scrunches? So how many people fold?
I can't raise my hand, but I'll say I fold.
Okay,
All right, there's 3 folds.
Why
How many
is with us?
scrunch? Scrunchers?
Brown
Three,
No
scrunch.
two.
scrunch.
You guys are like animals.
Proud.
You get no like I feel like you're just smeared. If you got nothing, there's no surface there. It's just a smooth surface, and you're just smearing. Are you not just smearing it?
No.
You're
I don't
spreading
know.
it
Well,
around.
I'll be honest, guys. I'm a swiper with the fold. And what I like to do is kind of turn around and give it the old once over to make sure I got everything. You got to look and make sure all the bits and berries came out. So, and I like the one, sometimes you got to do the one plier, the lovely sumac leaf would be great, to rub it there if you're running low on something or anything like that. But you gotta make sure, that you get everything, or else you got to go back in there again. So,
Yeah.
And Watson would know. I mean, back in our suite days, he did win Poop Fest after Poop Fest in the suite. So if anyone knows how to wipe, it is Watson. That's for sure. I trust his judgment.
dude, I mean, I'm still regular after going to Nicaragua, and it came out of me. I mean,
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Don't you have to edit that out, Rob?
That's right.
You
That's
guys
right.
get all that?
We sure did. Is he amongst the frozen chosen now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
That's an
I do have
unfortunate.
a side question directed at you, Rob. You have some experience using a bidet. So why don't
here
you
we
share
go.
some of your experience using that bidet?
Well, and here's the thing. The experience came after I wanted to start the toilet paper company. And someone said, if you want to save money on toilet paper,
It's on the-
just
I'm losing
get a
something.
bidet.
Having trouble connecting.
Just get a bidet. And so I said, okay, I'll get me an $80 bidet because I thought that may save millions of dollars in toilet paper. So I
For
got
what?
that bidet. And I used it about 4 times trying
I don't
to.
know.
There we go.
I
That's-
used it about 4 times.
For the best.
And 1, it was painful.
Yeah.
All right. 1, it was painful. 2,
Painful is it? Hold up. Painful is in like it was too hard of like you couldn't adjust the flow.
No, I mean you could, but you needed it shooting hard enough, and then it would hit you in certain spots, and it would not feel good. Like it was not like it wasn't like
Did you
a
do
water
a PSI
hose.
test or?
Let me tell you, I did a lot of tests.
Are you sure it wasn't like you didn't accidentally buy like an adjustable shower head that had the different settings and you were just on the massage setting? I mean, what?
Here's man. I was
Did your
afraid I
bidet
cut.
look like a super soaker?
There were 2 nozzles. No,
Oh, it's like
it was
a pressure
it was
washer.
it was
Green,
more of a
red, blue.
more of a one just straight, just boom, just one laser.
Gracious.
And boy, it hits you in the wrong spot and it hurts. And so that, but also it just left you wet. So it would turn everything. It basically made it a mud farm. And so, I mean, it was just, I was like, this is gross. So you're having to wipe up the mess. So I don't know.
That would be a perfect place for a scrunch because you've got all the
Thank you.
You've got
Thank
all
you.
the surface area
This
there
guy.
that would help clean it up.
With Watson gone, we're now 2-2 on the voting again.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Because I think a lot of it is nature versus nurture, and so I'm wondering, were you taught those of you who fold, the 2 of you who fold, were you taught the fold by your parents?
Me and my parents didn't have the conversation. We didn't have the conversation.
Which conversation, Rob?
Any conversation?
Yes.
The white.
Yeah.
The white. So,
So do you think did
my
they-
dad didn't sit me one down one day and go, Rob, this is how you wipe back there.
My
You
father
know?
did this. His father did it this way. We're a family of four.
generational?
Hey, I will throw Ted under the bus here and freely. And so, man, I have a vivid memory in Marietta, Georgia. I think because I produced so many landing strips on the Fruit of the Loom that my dad was questioning my ability at said wiping. And so I remember him, I don't know, I was really young, at least 15 or 16 at the time. And so, no, I'm joking, but I was really young. And I remember him, he's just like,
it was last week, right?
He was so ticked at me last week. No, he was so ticked. And he was just like, Robbie, what the heck are you doing? And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just wiping, Dad. And he's like, you clump it, because he's not a psychopath, but you clump it, and then you just kind of wipe it, Robbie. And so I was like, well, that's what I've been doing. He's like, not good. And so he taught me, who I can only assume Robert George McKenzie taught, who can I only assume Theodore McKenzie taught, who I can only assume Archibald Edward taught. So, I think ever since, we crossed the Red Sea, there's been the clumping.
Yeah.
Nope.
Hey,
too much.
This has been a lively conversation.
Yes. Yeah. But JP, don't your boys fold?
I got a folder and a scruncher.
Yeah.
I've got a super folder,
That's my guy. That's my guy.
Psychotic, like, hey, bud, you can use a little more toilet paper. It's okay. Dad's good for it.
Yeah.
And then I got one who does it the correct way and scrunches. One who the folder makes a game of it. Like how many can I get? You'd love him, Rob. It's like how minimalist can I wipe here?
Let me tell you, if you can get that third wipe out of 4 squares, which that last would be about a 2x2 landing area.
Oh my goodness,
that's impressive. That's impressive. That's when when you're just checking at the end to make sure you're good to go.
Yeah,
it's basically a done deal. Just one more little.
I think you're gonna like Jim Morrison break on through to the other side with a 2x2. I mean, gracious.
Because every time you wipe, it's eroding the integrity of
absolutely.
The erosion. So, man, you're just you are playing with fire every time.
Very much.
It's eroding your butt. I've never heard that before.
Eroding the integrity of the ply.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, of the ply. Okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, I got you. All right, we're 3 minutes overdue on moving to topic 3. But here's the thing: on topic 3, I have no comments on because I've never taken a child to Disney World. So
what about topic 2, Rob?
That's where we're going to. Topic 2.
Okay,
Disney
good.
World.
Just checking.
Did I say 3?
You did. Keep going.
Oh, my bad. My bad. All right.
We're gonna get some fan mail about that.
One of our buddies, Johnny, just got back from a family trip to Disney World. Okay. And so the question is for men taking their families to Disney World, what are the highlights and the lowlights of a family Disney vacation? How about we start with highlights?
I'm a ride guy. I like the rides. I like the most extreme rides that they have. That one that Johnny sent. I forget that.
Dumbo.
Is it, huh?
Dumbo.
Yeah, Dumbo. Yeah, that's the one.
Dumbo Express.
Yeah, but all of the extreme rides.
He's back.
I like the rides. I don't like. I mean, obviously, you want to get the fast pass so that you can skip line. But yeah.
Ed, what about you? Have you taken the fam?
Yeah, we've been
13 kids. So.
Yeah, we've been down there and single-handedly, booked out the entire theme park while we were there, just our family. And so,
sure.
Yeah, no, I think part of my obviously the rides, but man, the food too is especially at Epcot. When you get all those different countries and so forth. I mean, some of that's good, and then you're just hungry, so you grab that massive turkey leg, that you shouldn't eat, but you eat it anyway. But I think to do it right, it's expensive, but I like it's for the food, but when you do the whole experience, you stay at an actual resort inn or something, do that, and then do all the meals there and everything, and you don't have to, go anywhere. I mean, that's part of the experience too. But it's so expensive to do that. But I mean, it's convenient for sure.
Yeah, I think there's like so for me, highlight would be like, I think there's a sweet spot when your kids are coming up where, there's certainly time you take them where they're not going to remember anything. But there's kind of a sweet spot there where, it's going to be just the pure joy for them. And when you see that, it makes the frustration of the planning and the finance and the crowds and the heat, it makes it almost worth it. I think for us, like some of our favorite memories were like the nighttime fireworks. Like you've been at the park all day long and you've just been going, standing in line, dealing with everything. It's fun, but it's just a lot. And then the last thing of the day is always the big fireworks show. And so everybody kind of stops, sits, and you're tired, so you don't have to corral the kids too much. And I mean, they do a lot of things right there. And the fireworks shows, in our opinion, were always one of the highlights. But it's what I think for me, like what I've told people that have gone, we've been a couple times, is that you just have to, and this is probably a good thing Hayes is not on here because this would likely not fly. This wouldn't land well with his employer. But what I tell people is like, look, man, just give them your credit card and figure it out later. Like that's the best thing because it ain't cheap, man.
Yeah.
It ain't cheap.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my question: is it worth it? I mean, at the end of the week, you go, hey, the memories, and we'll figure out the money. But I wonder how often people go, that was not worth it. What do you think?
Yeah. Sid, you were about to say something.
Well, I mean, so that's kind of a tricky question. But they say, and I don't know who specifically but they say that
the all-encompassing
experiences have a greater impact on your life than gifts, than things.
Yeah.
And definitely Disney is an experience, and so it's going and doing all the things. It can certainly have a lasting impression. As far as whether it's specifically worth it, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, it's certainly expensive though.
Rob, you've not taken a kid there, but have you and the wife gone?
We went probably 12 years ago. We went for one day. We just drove from West Palm 2 hours up to Orlando, went for one day. I couldn't tell you what park we went to. I couldn't tell you if we rode anything. I just know I ate the largest turkey leg I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
So that is literally my only recollection from 10 years ago is eating a large turkey leg. So is that every park? Is that one specific park? I don't know, but that's where I was, wherever the turkey leg was.
I don't remember which park that is. I feel like they probably have it.
Did you guys go to Disney growing up?
We went to Opryland.
Opryland? Yeah, I went to Opryland.
Who needed Disney when you had Opryland?
Yeah. We had Opryland in Nashville. Yeah, went there a few times.
Yeah. Never been.
We went to Silver Dollar City before it became Dollywood.
That's cool. Yeah, that was such a good park. My parents always told my brother and I, my brother's 3.5 years younger. They said, when you guys are old enough, we'll take you to Disney World.
Did it happen?
It never happened.
It never happened.
I'm still holding out hope, 40, 44, 43.
And now your parents go by themselves and they wear their Mickey Mouse shirts, right?
Hey, you gotta bring this up, man. You gotta bring up this pent up aggression. Say, hey, you never took me to Disney.
That's where it all came from.
Christmas is when I'll bring it up. I'll wait till Christmas.
Yeah. Just blow up the table.
From what I hear, JP, if he did go down there, your dad, he'd probably know everyone and wouldn't be able to ride anything and would probably end up talking his way through. Is that correct? Or
he would love it. There would be so many people for him to talk to because I mean that would be his standing in line for the ride would be his Disney World. He wouldn't ride the ride. He'd stand in line.
He'd get to the ride and say, well, hey, I've enjoyed talking with you. And then he'd go to the next ride.
They would be like, sorry, folks, this ride is closed. And your dad would be like, yes. Look, we get to wait in line 3 hours.
Yeah. Hey,
all right.
For one quick story, Disney World story.
Yes,
absolutely.
So, I worked with a guy who did 4 years at Disney, or 3 years at Disney. Disney does like a collegiate program in the summers for college students, so they learn and go to the Disney Institute, and it's all about customer service and leadership and that kind of thing. He did 2 summers, and then he taught an additional summer. And so he told me a lot of like kind of the behind the scenes stuff that you don't hear. My favorite story though was he said when he first started working, and he was even older than Sid. So this guy was, he was back there. He was working there in the 80s. He said that the character suits were not as sophisticated as they are now. Now they have built-in air conditioning to keep the people wearing them cool in the summertime because it gets unbearably hot. But he said back when he was doing it that they didn't have those, and so you'd have a parade at 2:00 in the middle of the day in July or August in Orlando, and it's 105 degrees with 300% humidity, and you've got Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse on the top of this float, and it would get like 200 degrees inside that helmet. And so he said, true story, he said there was one parade where Minnie Mouse overheated, and she was not harnessed in properly to the top of that float, fell off of the back of it, and passed away. And I know, took a dark turn on you, but here's the magic of Disney. Immediately, like 10 cast members, as they call them, formed like a human shield around her, so the park guests couldn't see. Draped a sheet over. Another Minnie Mouse popped up out of the, they have all these little secret passages and tunnels and stuff, popped up out of the nearest tunnel, got right back on the parade, and they just kept right on trucking. Never stopped. Is that not insane?
That's a machine right there.
Wow.
That sounds made up.
It sounds made up. But,
I'm not saying that your friend was a liar, but
it probably most
probably a liar.
There's no investigation.
So.
All right, let's final topic, meeting 3. On to topic 3. We've had a wonderful, beautiful conversation on toilet paper, and then deep conversation on Disney World, and now our third topic is always our spiritual topic. Tonight's topic is our favorite man of the Bible, not named Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite man of the Bible. Now, notice sometimes people say favorite character, right? That's one thing I always like to remember. These aren't characters. These are real people that walk the face of the earth that we're walking today. So I don't think they ever use that word character, but these are men of the Bible, favorite men of the Bible, not named Jesus. Who's got the first one?
I went with Elijah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot going on with him. He prayed for that it not rain for like 3 years.
Mm.
One of my favorite parts of what he did was, he the way that he mocked the worshipers of Baal.
Mm.
Like he said, "Oh, pray louder. Maybe your God is away using the bathroom." I mean, he was just like laughing at them and mocking them the whole time.
Then they're folding. He couldn't answer because he was folding. He was making that bathroom more origami.
Right. Yeah, it takes longer to circle back.
Yes. The old circle back.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's such a hey, we got him back.
Oh,
good, Waddy. But yeah, I think that there's a lot going on with him. I mean, he was at the Transfiguration, but then he wasn't all good. I mean, he was. There were times when he was afraid. He was afraid of, was it Jezebel?
Mm.
And he was like, on the one hand, he was bold, but then on the other hand, he was like, afraid of something that he probably shouldn't have been afraid of.
Mm.
And so, I like
Good
Elijah.
one. Yeah. All right.
JP, go ahead. Thanks for offering.
Well, I think one of the dangers in not going first is that there's potential for your answer to be stolen, and so
That's why I went first.
Yeah, good call there. Very, very humble and Christ-like of you. So I'm gonna keep it in the OT and say Joshua, and I'm a little bit biased because just in the reading that we've been doing, we've just finished with Joshua's story, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. But I think of Joshua as someone who came in and showed great integrity, and two very well known stories. One was when he and Caleb were two of the 10 spies who came back and told the people, hey, we can totally, we can take this land of Canaan that God has promised us. They weren't afraid. So, that showed great integrity. And then two, like he had you never want to be the guy that follows the legend, right? Like in sport, you never want to be the coach that comes in after the greatest coach of all time. You want to be the guy that follows the coach. But Joshua didn't have that. He came in, he followed Moses, and that could have been, man, I can't imagine the pressure to lead an entire nation of people. But he did that and did some absolutely incredible things in leading the children into the promised land and kind of enacting God's vision and God's promises for his people to take possession of that land. And so, great leader, great military leader, great spiritual leader, and so and a man of I feel like man of integrity. So that was I'll go with Joshua after Sid.
Yeah.
So
we were just reading Joshua as well, and one of my favorite lines of his is choose for yourself who you're going to serve, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And so it's such a powerful line.
Yep.
I don't care what anyone else is going to do. This is what we're going to do.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Waddy, you're muted just in case you don't know that, but we're talking about our favorite men of the Bible, not named Jesus. So that's our third topic of the night. So, Edsky?
Yeah, I got to. I got to hear the Disney and everything like that. I just couldn't get in because it did weird stuff. But you know how it is. I felt like Poger in technology. So, but I guess we've been discussing, Moses. And so that's kind of been somebody who I kind of just really kind of listened to when we were doing the class last night and just talking about somebody who gave God excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. And God was sitting there saying, I'll be with you every step of the way. I'll be your wingman. I can't do this. I'm not spoken. I don't have this tool. I'm not this person. But until he got to provoke God to where he says, pretty much you're going, And so, I just kind of see it that where, he uses us, he uses the people that, may not have all the best talents and has the purpose for them and knowing that he can bring the best out of them and use them for his glory and his good. So.
That's good. That's good. And Moses is one where, again, you're talking about his relationship with God. And we get to the very end of Moses' life at the end of Deuteronomy. And God says, hey, you can't go to the promised land. I'm sorry. That's the consequence. I love you, but that's the consequence. But he takes it up on the mountain and shows them the land. He's like, hey, I want you to see all this. But it's like, and it just seems like such a sweet relationship through all that turmoil. And again, we think about our relationship with God and the turmoil and the ups and downs, but it's fun seeing another guy like that God loves so very much, just like he loves us so very much. But yeah, that's a good one.
And you know what my favorite part about him taking Moses up and showing him the promised land?
What's that?
Go ahead.
Then it says that Moses died and the Lord buried him.
Buried him. He buried him.
Did I break up a little bit? Yeah, the Lord buried him. So like, what did that look like? And what an incredible thing that would have, been. And I don't know how. There may not be another person in history that could say that.
Yeah.
Word, So.
Yeah.
I like
that. That's good. That's good.
Edsky, you've had time to think. Change your answer times.
Obviously, I'm really upset that none of you chose this one. This one's kind of a softball toss, but But in the book of Isaiah, my favorite character is Mahashalahashbaz, and I mean, to have a name like that as the longest name in Scripture, I mean, why wouldn't we want to revere him? To even perhaps name our children that. All right,
Yeah.
Give me a
I thought
little
you might go with
Mahashalahashbaz. Do what?
I thought you might go with Sennacherib.
Yeah, I was going to go with that too. I mean, what if you tatted up Mahashalahashbaz? I mean, that would be like all down, right? Hayes should do the other sleeve and start with that, right? No, seriously. I'm ashamed that you New Testament Christians didn't go as one should to the New Testament, and so my. Sorry. In truth, it's tough, but my favorite character, because so often the stories of Scripture.
It's not a character; it's a man. My favorite man. My favorite man.
My favorite man who is in Scripture. Thank you for the correction. My favorite man who is in Scripture is Peter. And the reason why troze is not a word, by the way, but the reason
Betrothed.
Yeah, I said the reason why I troze. I'm just falling apart here, folks. It is about 30 minutes past my bedtime. But the reason why I chose the biblical man named Petros, Rock, is because often we tend to read ourselves into the story, and when we do that, often the characters who most resonate with you are the ones who you see yourself typically being in Scripture. And for me, that's Peter. I just look at my life and just how passionate I was and still am about following God, and sometimes very blindly, right? Very naively, in a good way sometimes, but just like, I've got this figured out. I've got, I'm never going to deny you, Jesus, that kind of stuff. And then the very thing that I say I won't do, as Paul would later quote, right, and say and write, is the very thing I do. And so, I see that. But and one of the most chilling stories, in Luke's version of when Peter denies Christ is that there's this deep connection as Peter looks and makes eye contact with Jesus. He starts weeping, right? He starts weeping. And man, and for Peter to just still say, okay, I've got this calling. I still got, yes, that happened. The stuff happened, but I still got to move on. And he did. We're literally standing on his shoulders. And just how boldly he proclaimed the faith. In the book of Acts. And one of my favorite verses, the last verse that at least he wrote that we have on record is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 18. It's but grow in the grace and knowledge of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I mean, that's the last words he said. And I can't imagine a person who did the full gamut of growth like Peter did, for sure. So yeah, that's mine is old Peter.
Yeah. I like how the Bible shows the flaws of the people that are in it. It's such an important thing because imagine, David without his flaws or Peter without his flaws. I mean, we would elevate them to a level that they shouldn't be.
Right.
But we see the times that they, messed up and that's such an important thing because we mess up. I mean, we're like them because we mess up all the time. And so I love that aspect of the Bible that, we're going to see the good parts, but also here's some things they probably shouldn't have done as well.
Yeah, and to Peter, that verse I shared, it's like, okay, a lot of time, at least my experience, there's heavy emphasis on growing in the knowledge of Jesus, right? And that's true. That's foundational. But man, did Peter ever grow in his grace, right? And to experience that, to grow in that grace and be molded with both knowledge and grace. I think it's not either or, it's both and, for sure.
That's good. Hey, and I'll bring us home. Yeah, I'll bring us home on this one. Mine is going to be Nehemiah. I think Nehemiah was a wonderful leader. He obviously felt a burden about the people and the rebuilding of the wall. and did a wonderful job leading that movement, faced opposition. We learn about facing opposition. But I think the thing that I love most about Nehemiah that I want to use in my daily life is that he prays a lot in that book. And the first time he went before the king to make all these requests, let me go rebuild, we're just told that Nehemiah prayed. And I just see him, how many situations do I have just before I open my mouth? And I just believe it was a short prayer where Nehemiah said, God, give me the words that I need in this situation. And how often do I walk into that in just a short prayer? And I see him praying multiple times as he led the people of the Old Testament. And so that's a characteristic that as we lead our families and our churches and our businesses or schools or companies or whatever, it's just, man, just having prayer along the way, seeking God's guidance. And I think that's how Nehemiah was successful, because he constantly sought God. So I'm going to say that's my character of the Bible there.
Yeah, Nehemiah's good, man. When Sanballat, Tobiah, and that other character are just like blasting him and making, you imagine they're rebuilding this wall, right? And so they're just blasting him and trying to get him, to stop. It's that Nehemiah 6 and verse 3. It's like, I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. Love it, man.
That's exactly what I was thinking about, Ed.
Yeah.
Good job. Yep.
Thank you. Here all night.
Hey, I know you got to wrap us up, but hey, just a quick plug. Like I think, we wanted to incorporate a spiritual aspect to every one of these podcasts, and I think that number one, it's foundational for all of us. It's the most important thing for all of us. It's the the most core tenet that we all share. But I think this, like getting back into the Word for me, has been something that I've gained from kind of us reconnecting several months ago, and the encouragement to, and I'd not done a great job. Like I've gone through seasons where I've been very dry in that respect, but this group has given me a little extra encouragement. And Rob and I are following kind of the same plan. I know Sid, you and Ed are following one that's not so great. But, you're still in the Word, and so just knowing that there are the other guys are out there doing the same thing has been an encouragement for me to keep going and plug in on days where it's a tough read because it's dry and repetitive and it's hard to find application. But like I would say, like any dude that's listening to this, like one of the benefits of like friendship, Christian brothers, and that bond you have is just to continue to encourage each other to stay in the Word. It's been helpful for me, so I appreciate you guys in that.
Yeah. Word. Well, we know Big Mike, Justin, or Judd, and Susan are listening, so hopefully that's impacts them. So, but
it will for sure.
All right, world. The 3 topics are done. The meetup is over. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week for another Meet and 3 podcast. Next week.